we'll be going over IRS Notice CP42. This is a notice that you might receive from the Internal Revenue Service if you had a tax refund that was applied to outstanding taxes that you owed from prior tax years. So for example, let's imagine that you received a $5,000 tax refund for the 2023 tax year if you just filed your 2023 taxes, but you owed taxes for 2020 and 2021. Before you received any of your 2023 refund, the IRS would apply your refund to zero out those tax balances from prior years. And then if there was anything left, you would receive that as the refund. So this notice basically attempts to break down what your tax refund consists of, your outstanding tax balances from prior years, and then it will tell you how much your actual refund is net of all the tax debt that you paid off. So we'll go through this form step by step. We're going to go ahead and start with the upper right hand corner where you can see the notice number. That's CP42, the specific tax year in question. Probably the most important piece of information is the notice date. So October 25th, 2010. This is a dated example from the IRS website. But basically, if there's anything that the IRS is requesting that you do, like they usually will put a time frame or a due date that's attached to this notice date. For example, a very common thing for the IRS to ask is to pay a certain tax balance within 21 days of the notice. So pay attention that it's 21 days from the notice date, no matter when you receive the notice. Below that is your social security number, which you should confirm to make sure that it's accurate, and then a contact phone number for the IRS. On the left-hand side, you'll see the IRS return address or the letterhead address. Down here would be the taxpayer name and address fields. So you'll want to make sure that this is accurate and up to date. If you've recently relocated, there are 3 ways that you can update your address with the IRS. The first way is simply by filing your next tax return with the new address on it. That's how most people update their tax returns, their tax records, and the IRS will simply take your address that's on your most recent tax return and update your tax records accordingly. The second way would be to call the IRS at their 800 number, validate your information, and then change your address over the phone. And the third way would be to file the official change of address notice. So you can file either IRS Form 8822, which is for individuals, or IRS Form 8822-B, which is for business owners. And that's pretty important to do because, again, if you're given a notice with some sort of requested action and it takes an extra week to catch up to you because of the mail system, the IRS does not care about that. They care that you respond within that timely manner, and making sure that your address is up to date is a good way to make sure that you get it as soon as possible. With that said, let's take a look at what this notice is trying to tell us. So a lot of this is redacted, but I'll kind of walk through this. So your looks like 2000, let's call it 2007, Form 1040 overpayment was applied to taxes that you owed. And there was a refund here. We applied part or all of it to from your whatever tax year. So I guess 2008. So let's imagine that the overpayment amount was $5,000. And then you had $1,000 owed on each of these 3 prior tax years. Your net refund after subtracting $3,000 of taxes would be $2,000. So again, if your address is changed, you can call the IRS. You can also file the change of address form that I mentioned. You don't need to do anything with response to this particular notice because the IRS will simply send you the refund as long as there are not other taxes or debts that they're required to collect. So not just back taxes, but There's a program known as the Treasury Offset Program where you can, where the Treasury Department may garnish certain federal payments such as tax returns to or tax refunds to offset other taxes or other federally recognized payments. This could be student loan debt. This could be child support that was reported to the Treasury Department from a state welfare office. There are other aspects that tax refunds can be applied to. So we'll put links in the show notes to articles about some of the forms and topics that we mentioned here. So if you want to dig down deeper into some of these other topics, you feel free to check out our show notes. And then there's some additional information here. What we're going to do is click on this link just to see if there's anything that wasn't covered in the notice itself. So this kind of spells out that this was your refund was changed because the IRS used it to pay off a tax debt owed by you, your spouse, or a former spouse. So there is something. There are a couple of frequently asked questions. We'll get to the root of some of this stuff. So, for example, one of the frequently asked questions is, "Hey, you took some of my refund to pay taxes that my spouse owes, even though I don't owe any taxes." So this happens a lot with couples in maybe second marriages, or someone that recently got married that owed back taxes and now is filing as a married taxpayer with another person. That person would be considered an injured spouse. And what that means is the IRS has the right to garnish taxes to pay off someone's tax debt. But once you get married to a person that doesn't owe that tax debt, the IRS can only allocate the responsible spouse's portion of the tax refund. And it's basically proportional to how much income and taxes each spouse brings into that tax return. So if you're the spouse that did not owe taxes, but you feel that part of your joint tax refund was garnished improperly, then you can file a IRS Form 8379, also known as the Injured Spouse Allocation Form, where you can complete the form and you document how much was your debt, how much was someone else, the other spouse's debt, and then the IRS can process this form and give you your proportionate amount of the tax refund that should not have gone to offset the other spouse's tax debt. Now, what that means is the other spouse's debt is still outstanding by that amount, and if you remain married, eventually you'll just have to work through that and get it paid off. So, but you have that right as an injured spouse if that applies to you. The other thing that there's a form in here in case your refund is garnished and you're still trying to figure out how to pay back taxes. You can request an installment agreement if you need to sit down and come up with a payment plan. The IRS website offers ways to do that online, but you can also file IRS Form 9465, which is the installment agreement request for the IRS. So let's go back here. We pretty much have covered all the things that need to be discussed about this notice. As I mentioned, we'll put links in the show notes to articles and videos we've created about some of the resources here. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, or if there's another topic you'd like to see in an upcoming video, please hit me up in the comment section. Thank you very much and have a great day.